Assalamu alaikum, my all dear students of SM Public Academy Campus 5. How are you doing, guys? I know that you are doing nowadays your MTs, means monthly test, and I hope you are doing very well. So take care about yourself, get in touch with your studies, and do well. So today guys, I welcome you in our English class, and it is going to be our English literature class. As guys, you will be having your English literature MT1 on 10th of September. So let's start review. Now guys, as you know, the lesson number 2, Sabu and the Elephants, has been included in your MT1 literature that will be on 10th of September. So we need to review this lesson. So today we are going to review our lesson number 2, Sabu and the Elephants. So dear students, what we do first? Yes, we have a look on preview of the lesson so that you will be familiar with the story and its characters. And I'll explain the story in the context of these questions that I have written right now. Who was Sabu? What was his connection? What was his father? Who was Goody? What happened to Goody and why? So, who was Sabu? Sabu was a young boy and lived at Mysore in India. Actually, this story shows the culture of the elephant drivers and tells also that how they train the wild elephants according to them and also made them trained or tamed. In fact, in olden days when vehicles were not invented, people used to ride or drive some animals like horses, camels, donkeys and elephants. And for that purpose, they trained them so that the wild animals let them drive. Sabu's connection with elephant drivers was his father was an elephant driver and worked for the Prince of Mysore in India. Sabu wanted to be an elephant driver like his father. Not this, but he wished to have his own elephant, and his elephant would be the best and would lead the Prince of Mysore and Prince procession. Have you remembered procession? Procession means a group of people or animals walk together or march. So he wished that his elephant would be the leader of the elephants and would be in front of all elephants when they marched. And who was Goody? Goody was his father elephant who was trained by his father. And as you know, his father was the best driver in all. So, by his training, Goody became good, gentle, and she loved her master too much, and she could do whatever her master ordered her. And she had been with Sabu since he was a child in cradle. What happened to Goody and why? Goody loved her master and she was fond of her master's training. So, when Sabu's father died, she missed him very much, and she was not ready for any other, even Sabu. She became miserable and troublesome. She did not let Sabu ride on her. That is why Sabu became unhappy, and at last Goody was left in jungle, and once again she became a wild elephant. Now students, let's continue our preview of the lesson. Here I have written some more questions so that you will understand more clearly. Why did the strangers come to meet the prince? What did the filmmaker want to Iravatar do? What did Sabu want and what did he wish? Who was Iravatar and how did Sabu train him? Let me explain first the question, what did Sabu want and what did he wish? And up till now, you can answer this question that Sabu wanted to have his own elephant as well as he wanted to become an elephant driver like his father. And he wished his elephant would be the leader of the procession or would lead the procession of the prince. Means he wished that his elephant would be the best in his stable. Now the most important question that need to answer, who was Iravathha and how did Sabu train him? Who was Iravathha? Iravathha was an elephant like Goody, but Goody was Sabu's father's elephant and Iravathha was another elephant and he was gentle, strong. What happened? Sabu felt alone after the death of his father. He spent his time with other elephants and elephant drivers and their children. One day, while he was playing with elephants, he noticed an elephant who was strong and good and gentle. His named Iravathha. Sabu trained Iravathha to curl his trunk and put it his broad back. They became friends, means Sabu and Iravathha. Sabu started to be happy with Iravathha and is spending time not only with Iravathha but other strong boys who were as strong as Sabu. Once evening, a chief driver came to the boys and informed them that some strangers came to meet the prince and they wanted to make a film. This is the answer of the first question that I have written. Why did the stranger come to meet the prince? Some strangers came to meet the prince for making film. Like other boys, Sabu was eager to be selected as they all were strong and had their own elephant. But in Sabu's case, Sabu didn't have his own elephant. But he was excited as well as much hopeful. So when filmmaker offered him to try his luck, he got a chance to live with the boys in the house of filmmaker. On the other side, to choose one boy from the 6 boys became more difficult for filmmaker. But this problem had been solved by flood in the river. One day the river was full of high tides and the film director wanted to shoot some photographs with elephants and his drivers. In this condition, in that situation, all the other drivers tried with their elephants, but they failed. Then, on that time, Sabu asked the director to get his chance with Iravathha. They wanted Iravathha to swim across the river. That was so difficult and everyone was there lost his hope. But Sabu was confident. He urged Iravathha to swim and by his struggle and courage, they were successful. Everyone was surprised to see that and they were happy. And when director asked Sabu that he chose for his film Iravathha and Sabu, he was excited and grateful, means he was successful. Now student, here is review of the lesson. What does the story show? This is the conclusion of the story. You can say this is the lesson of the story or sum up of the story. The story shows the culture of elephant drivers living in a separate colony. They used to drive elephants for the royal class in India before the invention of vehicles. It tells about a young boy named Sabu who wished to have his own elephant and his dream came true by his struggle and courage. That all thing I have already told you and I hope you have understood the whole story and its conclusion. So guys, here are some new words and their meanings that you have already read in the story Sabu and the elephant. Impatiently, a way that shows irritation or annoyance. He was waiting for his parents impatiently. or she was waiting for her result impatiently, trampling, treading on and crushing. The fence had been trampled down. Or in the story, Goody became miserable and she would trample down houses and someone who came in the path or way. Wandered, walked or moved in an aimless way, means without any aim. Walking, when you walk without any aim, any target. They had not wandered that far today. Long, have a strong wish or desire. She longed for performing Umrah or Hajj. Pretended, not genuine, assumed. She pretended to fan herself. Stared, looked fixedly with open eyes. When you watch someone with open eyes, with excitement or surprise, she stared at him, his expression sour. Urge, recommend something strongly. It is never necessary to urge her to study. Nodded, lower and raise one's head slightly and briefly, especially in greeting or to give someone a signal. He nodded his head and smiled. He nodded and leaned back against the wall. So, these are the new words and their meanings. So guys, let's assess yourself by these statements. Say whether these statements true or false. Number 1. Sabu played with the wild elephants in the jungle. Is this true or false? Did Sabu play with the wild elephants or tamed elephants in the jungle? Yes, this is true sentence. Sabu always played with the wild elephants in jungle. Now Sabu trained Goody. Did Sabu train Goody? No, Sabu did not train Goody, but he trained Iravatha because Goody his father's elephant. Goody was his father's elephant. So this sentence is false. Now the story Sabu and the elephants shows the culture of drivers. Which drivers? Bus drivers, truck drivers. The story shows the culture of drivers or elephant drivers. So this sentence is also false. Now Sabu lived at Bombay in India. Did Sabu live at Bombay or at Mysore? Yes, Sabu lived at Mysore in India. So this sentence is also wrong. Now Goody threw a man to the ground. Did Goody throw a man to the ground? Yes, why? Because Goody became miserable and rude or bad-tempered. Why? After the death of her master. So Goody used to throw men to the ground, and one day he threw a man to the ground. So this sentence is true. So these are true and false. Now students, at the end of the lesson, what did you learn? Yes, you can say that we learned that struggle and courage always work. And it is true that always struggle and courage work. And whenever you work hard, you struggle for any purpose, for any positive purpose, you will get the fruits of success. Being a young boy, Sabu wished to have his own elephant, as his father died and he was a very young boy. But his struggle and courage proved that he could have his own elephant. He worked hard and his dream came true by his struggle and courage. Students, again I hope that you have understood the whole story and the lesson, and this review will help you to attempt your MT1 literature successfully. Inshallah. Stay protected against the COVID-19 pandemic. Use all the necessary precautions. Take care. Allah Hafiz.